Hello, my name is Kerry Arthur, and today we are going to take a look at some tasty miniatures from the Warhammer Online preview. Sorry, Warhammer Preview Online. The Codex show online. Just stick online any way you like, really. We're only going to take a look at the models today. There's some Necron stuff, some Primaris stuff, you're shocked I can tell, and a cheeky little Death Guard lad as well. We will cover the actual details of the Codex stuff and the rules. We'll go into the more detailed, like, nitty-gritty stuff on Monday. Today, we're just going to focus on the models because I'm having what can only be described as an absolutely terrible day, depression and anxiety-wise, and I cannot get my thoughts straight for anything more complicated than looking at pretty things and going, I like or I do not like. Don't need to be 100% on the ball for that, so I want to talk about these guys because these are cool. We're starting out with the most important things, which are the Necrons. Because, I mean, you're not gonna argue, are you? Surely not. The most important reveals are the Necron ones. There's already loads of Primaris. Who cares? We're starting off with this lad. This is the Psychomancer, a type of Cryptek, and somewhat appropriately, it feels like, funnily enough, deals with the mind, with projections of fear and the like. I really do like this model, but there is one thing that I'm really not sure about, which is the kind of digital skull projection thing. So, on the stream it was described as like an aura of fear, like a kind of manifestation of the fear and terror that the Nightbringer brings, I guess, is the way to phrase it. And I can see what they were going for. I'm not a massive fan, to be honest. I feel like, I don't know, it's the one part of the model that isn't grabbing me, which is a shame because I like everything else about this. You got the traditional Cryptek massive chin, gotta have one of them. The body on this guy, though, is really unsettling in the best way. So you've got your fairly normal torso, you got that kind of hunched approach, but then where the waist is, instead of getting legs, well, you kind of got legs, you've got like little curled up, like almost insect legs. There's like a carapace going on down there instead of normal legs. And the way that it moves around seems to be the use of these two long metallic mechanical tentacles that aren't even attached at the waist. They're attached at the side of what would be the ribs. It is creepy. It's creepy and unsettling because no matter how it stands or how it moves, it's always going to look like those kind of insect legs are just curled up in this little like resting position. It's really odd in a really, really cool way. Again, it's kind of playing up that kind of inhuman but still kind of familiar feel the Necrons have got. That kind of body/cosmic horror thing of, you look at the top part of it and it's like, okay, that's like humanoid, and then it just gets weirdly insectoid. But the insectoid bit it's not even relevant to how this thing moves. It's just weird. I really like it. It's super well done. The staff looks a little bit long to me, but then again, the tentacles that it moves around on, that it is projecting the skull out of, they are super long. So actually, I guess it's like, if it was at its full height, the staff would look more in proportion. Really, that's a minor thing to complain about because I like everything else. As I say, the only thing I'm not sure about is that skull, and you could probably get rid of it if you wanted and replace it with something else. You know, I mean, to be honest, there's quite a few things in Age of Sigmar that would work quite well for that. In fact, Spirit Host would work. You could take snip the skull off and get a bit of Spirit Host action in there for screaming faces being thrown at people. That would be kind of cool. I like that. Well, I mean, I'm going to do that now, aren't I? Psychomancer, I love it. Good model. Solid start here for our glance. And next up is the Chronomancer. Or was it? I think it was Adam Troker was like the Rubik's Cube champion. I like every single part of this, apart from the head, apart from the face. For some reason, the chin not being a separate thing attached to the lower, like the bottom of the jaw, it looks kind of unfinished in a weird way. I think that's the only way I can really put it. It looks too sleek. It looks just a bit off. but not in a kind of, oh, that's unsettling off. Just in a... It looks too plain, I think, is the thing. It looks like it needs more decoration, like a line or something to separate it from the rest of the head, or just a bit more detail. It looks too plain currently. The rest of it, I really like. So the cube that he's got in his hand is from one of the shoulders, but it seems to have travelled down into the palm. Then you've got the other cubes that are still in this weird shoulder headdress thing. The mass of metal tentacles that it calls its legs. Again, nice touch. Again, it's playing up on that kind of weird ethereal but also mechanical play, which they've done a really good job with that stuff for the newer Necron stuff. The staff is quality. They haven't gone overboard with the effects on it, which is nice. You've got the sphere, and you've got this kind of feeling of movement, like the sphere is spinning, but it's not covered in lightning. There isn't too much in the way of effects all over it. It's been kept pretty reasonable. It's not excessive, which is nice to see. Same thing with the cube that's got the sphere like coming out of it as well. They could have gone really overboard and done something similar to like the Void Dragon and had a bunch of kind of pixelation effects or lightning, but they've kept it simple, and I think it works. I think it works better that way for this. It would probably end up being too much if there was any more going on. As I say, the only thing I'm not sure about is the head, but again, that's something you could easily change if you wanted to. I'd be very tempted to think about doing something with one of the Ossiarch Bone Reaper heads actually for this. You could get something really creepy and weird to go with the already just very alien look that this guy has. Good model though. Good model, the Chronomancer. Funnily enough, Chronomancer. Chronomancer? However you want to pronounce it is fine. We also have new Flayed Ones. I'm so happy we're getting new Flayed Ones. Oh, we talked about it ages ago, about how the Flayed Ones need to be redone, and we've mentioned it a couple of times with all the Necron stuff that's been shown off. My main repeated question has been, but what about Flayed Ones? Like, they're resin, they're not going to leave much resin in the range, are they? And when they published that short story about the Flayed One that spoke using one of its victims' voices, which was creepy and horrendous, and I loved it. I was like, that to me was like, okay, they've got to do new Flayed Ones. They've got to. Here they are. Here they are. Oh, they're so much better than the current lot. They're so much closer to the original ones that I remember. The original ones that I remember just had that I owned, had long, creepy, like, scissor hands. They just had skin and gore on them, and that was it. They were simple. They were not clean, because they can't be clean, because they've got other people's skin on them. But you get what I mean. The design was clean. It wasn't like there wasn't like a vat of blood sticking out of the back of it, or like an entire cadaver strapped onto their head or anything like that. The current Flayed Ones aren't, to me, true to what the Flayed Ones are. They're like an over-the-top, kind of badly imagined version of them. These are spot on. They've got that same hunched profile. Instead of going like over the top with tubes of blood wrapped around them and stuff, you've just got warriors that have got horrendous claw scissor fingers with skin draped on them. That's all Flayed Ones need to be. That's what makes them special. That's what makes them as horrific as they are. And the fact they've gone back to that, they've recognised that, yes, this is the approach needed. I'm so happy with these. I am so happy with these. I do like the touch here where this one has clearly had a damaged helmet at some point, like a damaged head, and has put a skull over the damage. That's cool. That's a nice middle ground. It's nothing as silly as having a whole torso strapped to you, but it is that thing of, wanting to have flesh and blood. That kind of madness that the Flayed Ones have, that desire to be covered in skin once again. That suits it. That works. I love these guys. I love them because they just remind me of the old ones. They just look like the old ones. They've brought it back into what it should be. Now, we also have a bit of a throwback. Well, it's since we're scrolling past the datasheet, Ophydian Destroyers. Now, I really, really like the look of these, because back in the day, your Wraiths were not like... They weren't Canoptech Wraiths. They were like these guys. They had like a Necron's torso and Necron's arms, and then the kind of the whip, the kind of serpentine whip body. These are like classic Wraiths, just with a bit of extra going on. So, like the Scorpec Destroyers, you've got the blade arms, but they also have Flayed One-esque kind of normal arms as well. I love these because they do remind me of those original metal Wraiths. I will say I think they look better than those original metal Wraiths. These aren't replacing the Canoptech Wraiths or anything. These are a subset of Destroyer. So they're... you know, you can see the similarity, but... yeah, I really like these because this feels like a return to like a classic Necron design. They've been updated a bit, sure. They've been given those Scorpec Destroyer arm like blades and arms. They've got the those, I forget what they're called on the Canoptech Wraiths, the kind of globe bits coming out the side that allow them to do the phasing stuff. They've got that. They've got bits from other kits, but the core concept is that classic Necron Wraith of a Necron torso, Necron head with a pair of arms with horrible claws on them. And again, it's revisiting that, and I can't help but love it because I've got fond memories of those. I say fond, they're not fond, they were awful. They fell apart at the drop of a hat, or the drop of a dice, roll something near them, and mine often just either fell off the base or on the arms and fall off. They were a pain. They're an absolute pain to keep in one piece. I seem to remember you couldn't even pin the arms because they were too thin and weedy. But these are plastic, so that's not even going to be an issue. And to be honest, I could totally see taking some bits from the Canoptech Wraiths and making some old school Wraiths. Like, counts as Canoptech Wraiths, but like having that kind of similar aesthetic from the old school ones. I love them. I love them. So good. And you get a little multi-part plasma sight as well. I do like the fact that the plasma sight is just... it's all about the Wraiths. Follows them all around. Keeps them going. It's a cool little thing. It's nice. Now, of course, we've seen the Silent King before, but it's always worth having another glance at him. Mainly because he has a Satan shard just out in the open there. Just imprisoned in his throne because he is an absolute boss. Just what a flex. What a flex the lad has got. You can't beat that. Oh, Mortarion, you've got a massive scythe. Oh, isn't that nice? I have a piece of a god in my chair. How do you feel about that? What are you going to do about that? I love it. It's so good. Now, we also have the Primaris Storm Speeder. So that speeder we saw the pixelated picture of however many months ago. Funnily enough, it's real, just like everything else in that image. And, yeah, it's okay. Looks alright. To be honest, it looks chunkier and more... it looks less flimsy than the Firstborn land speeder, which I'm glad of. It should do. It's got those bits off the side of the impulsor that I really don't like, which is a pity, but I can understand why it's got those. The main thing I don't like about this, overall, it's pretty inoffensive. It's just a bulkier version of the land speeder with, the bits of various Primaris vehicles. It's exactly... I know we saw the pixelated image. If you said to me, what is a Primaris land speeder going to look like, I would say this. Like, there is nothing surprising about this design at all. It's exactly what I expected it to be. The main thing I don't like about it, like, it's fine. The main thing I don't like is that gunner in the turret. What is the point of that guy? Why is he there? It just feels like totally superfluous. I don't see the point. And on this setup, he's going to have a bit of... that helmet is going to be working overtime to filter out the bangs and whooshes as the, missiles are launched out of it. But when it comes to this variant, is his name actually Sergeant Tinnitus? Like, it's just going to destroy him. It's such a weird choice. And the thing is, if he was on there, and it was just him in the turret, I would say that's a bit weird, and possibly not like the most logical thing. But the turret's covered in, like, it's got optics on it. It's clearly got stuff to find targets. So, what's the point? Like, why is he there? It just looks weird. It's like, it looks like, it almost looks like there wasn't enough detail without something being there. So the decision was made, okay, we'll stick a Space Marine in it. I don't understand his purpose, and it just looks a bit daft. It looks like an afterthought, not like an intentional piece of design. And that's, I mean, I'm assuming the roll bar things come up or are detachable for him to get in and out. Otherwise, I don't know how you'd get in and out of that thing. I don't know. It's just a weird choice to me. It's not doing it for me at all. The rest of the speed is fine. It looks exactly what you'd expect a Primaris speeder to look like. You know, it's got design cues from the Impulsor, from the Repulsor. It's fine, but that turret on the top with the dude's head poking out, it just reminds me of that meme with the cat, like, looking over the table. It just looks like that. But there's been like 4 Primaris things that have looked like that now. It's just an odd decision to make, is all I'm saying. If you like it, that's grand. I'm not telling you not to, but I don't know. That bit specifically just doesn't do it for me, and it almost takes away from the rest as a result, harsh though that sounds. Yeah, no, it's weird. Okay, we've also, of course, got the Assault Intercessors. This is the multi-part kit. We already know what Assault Intercessors look like. All good, all fine, not a problem. And then you got the Blade Guard Veterans as well. We've taken a look at these guys before. Again, Blade Guard Veterans look good. I do like them a lot because they are my exact kind of, my preferred kind of Space Marine aesthetic, if you will. More heavily ornamented, closer to the Vanguard Veteran, Stone Guard Veteran kind of approach. Eradicators, again, which also you can have a multi-melter with this kit. So, more melter with your melter, sir. A bit of extra melter for your melter, sure. Then we have heavy intercessor squads. So, a quick glance at the sheet: toughness 5, 3 wounds, and executor heavy bolter. 42 inch range, heavy 2, strength 5, AP -2, damage 3. So essentially, if you like Intercessors, but you also like Gravis Armor, and you want the two to be mashed together in the heaviest infantry squad, like, troops choice known to man, then you can do that now. That's a thing you can do. And I'm not going to lie, I love it. You probably weren't expecting that, but I love it. I mean, how could I not? I am the person who played with a Strike Force Ultra, even though it was garbage and terrible, and it just was utterly worthless, and every game was a loss. Heavy infantry is my thing. I love heavy infantry. Heavy infantry is class. These guys are odd. It's like someone sat down and went, but what would make him love Intercessors? It's this. This is what would make me love Intercessors. I would run an army of these. I don't care. Even if they turn out to be crap. Even if they're not worth the points. Even if it just turns out that they're, just not as efficient or not as good as taking however many equivalent intercessors, I'd still do it because I love them. They look class. Yeah. A fan. Consider me a fan. We've also got the Captain with mastercrafted heavy bolt rifle. Finally, an actual Captain in Gravis Armor that wasn't only available in Dark Imperium. It's finally happened. Oh my god. He doesn't even have a gut on him, so that's nice. Although, admittedly, at this point, I mean, you could just use Torgaridon, because that's a better model than this. Although, I will say, his helmet is great. I'll give him that. Helmet is great, the cloak's cool. And I do like the kind of tabard thing as well. Pros and cons. But yeah, it looks pretty decent. And I have to say, heavy bolt rifles do look awesome. What else do we have? I forget. That's just a chaplain. We know that. Also, rules for Redemptors. And this is the order. So we've got Space Marines, Necrons, and then we've got Space Wolves, Death Watch, Death Guard, Blood Angels are the next ones. These 3 are supplements. They're not actual codexes. So we've got 1 true codex in the form of Death Guard, and we've got 3 supplements that are coming after the Space Marines and Necrons codexes. We'll discuss that in more detail. Finally, in terms of model reveals, we've got this lad, who I actually really like. Looks solid. I forget the name of him, but he essentially buffs vehicles. And I think that is a quality model. It's not too busy. It's not fallen into the trap of a lot of Death Guard stuff. It's not too over the top. It's not too out there. There's plenty of, like, decay and, like, pox marks and, like, bullet holes in the armour. Obviously, he's got the big old gut hanging out of him, which is fine. There is a kind of weird tubular cloak thing going on. But again, it's not too out there. It's not too distracting. It just kind of fills out the bottom of the model and makes it look less top-heavy. I feel like without that kind of weird tube cloak thing, it could look a bit goofy, because it could look like the top half of the model is just way too big for the bottom, but that evens it out quite nicely. All the chimney stacks, like the exhaust stacks coming out the top of the armour, look really good. I like that a lot. And that is a meaty power fist as well. Yeah, I like this guy. Looks decent. Tell you what, we've got to go back down to the Flayed Ones to do the outro, because just look at him. I'm so happy about the Flayed Ones. I cannot describe to you how happy I am with these Flayed Ones. They're exactly right. They are exactly right. They could not have got this more right. Perfect. I'm going to say it. These Flayed Ones, actually perfect models. There is nothing I would do to improve or change them. They are flawless. So good. Chef's kiss good. Mwah. Yeah, love it. Now, before we finish off the video, this week's shout out goes to Hellstorm Wargaming. If you like battle reports that are funny, informative, and well produced with a good variety of armies, and hosted by a lovely man named Mikey, then go over to Hellstorm Wargaming. There will be a link in the description, and there should be a little box thingy up here somewhere that you can click to take you over there. He's a lovely guy. Hellstorm is a really good channel. I suggest you check it out if you would like. So there you go. Those are the models from the stream, the reveals from the Warhammer Online preview, Warhammer Preview Online, however you want to say it. As I say, we will go through the codex stuff on Monday. We'll go into proper detail with those. As it is, this video has already turned out to be really long anyway, so it will just turn out to be way too... No one's got that kind of attention span. No one's going to listen to me that long. Yeah. Really happy with a lot of this stuff. Obviously, I'm more excited about the Necrons than anything else, but the Heavy Intercessors are a surprise entry into the list of stuff I really want. I was not really thinking I'd feel all that bothered by them, but I don't know. They're tickling that fancy, you know? So yeah, those are the models. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. What are your favourites from these reveals? Are you as happy about the Flayed Ones as I am? Is there anything that actually you would do to change them, or do you think they've got them pretty spot on? Is there anything that has jumped out at you as kind of, I wasn't expecting to be excited about this, but I really am? Let me know in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things, Patreon video. It'd be lovely to, if you could subscribe, but it's entirely up to you. I'm not going to force you. I mean, I can't force you. How would I physically do that? It's not possible. And of course, there is an affiliate link in the description down below for Element Games, which you can use to support the channel if you like. I leave it in your capable hands. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.